Morning, guys. We're getting on the swing of things here today, or getting in the swing of things. We're not going to talk for half hour because we got a lot to get done in the next 4 or 5 hours before the day's over. So we got some new fluffy mics though, so hopefully you guys can hear us without the wind. I feel like a goofball, but it is what it is. All right, guys, so I guess I don't have to yell now because I'm not yelling over the wind. So we're going to put a post right over here where you saw us bury this line the other day. The reason I'm not taking the line into the solar shed is because we're going to try to get rid of this solar shed, and we're going to do another build here in the spring. I'm hoping I can pull it up a little bit and swing it over this way so we could have our little, we're going to have a little campground box here with a 30 amp plug and a 30 amp breaker. And that's going to just be a junction box for the wire coming from the bunker and the wire that's pre-existing here. Plus that gives us a power source out here for our future project, right?
Uh-huh. And then we have a plug out here too for when we're doing stuff.
Yeah, we just have power source out here.
Double checking all the wood real quick.
Okay. All right, guys, we got some tools put together here. We're going to sink this post in the ground. We're not going to bring this up real high because we don't want it in the way, because we don't know what we're doing with the roof. We don't know what we're doing over here yet. I don't have a plan. We'll work on that.
Plan for a building, but not a...
Yeah, no final plans yet.
Specs of it.
Yeah. So, but what we're going to put here is this. I just threw it away. I got distracted. This is like a 30 amp campground box. It has a 30 amp breaker in it, and it feeds this outlet, and this is going to feed the cabin. So we're going to have a lot of breakers in this system. It's not ideal. I'm hoping that maybe next year we'll upgrade the line coming from this box to the cabin, and we'll eliminate some of these junction boxes that we've had, because we've changed the system so much over the years.
Learning as we go.
Yeah, we wanted it to be versatile, which it is and was originally. Very versatile for using the power stations in the cabin like we were doing. And then we wanted to be able to have power for, like, there's been a whole long 5-year storyline why it's set up the way it is. But, you know, and that's because we're just little at a time. So, but let's get this box mounted and get the wires hooked up to it.
Beautiful day for solar, right?
Yeah. Our solar's pretty much, I mean, it's dying. We haven't seen the sun in 3 days, so it needs to fill up. So, anyway. This was the one that we got out of the shed. No?
No, you had bought this one. I believe the one in the shed's still down there.
Oh, this one's still good. So I don't need a lot of it, just need a little bit more. So there's that. You can put that over there out of the, just off to the left. All right.
That's going to go up, and then
that's going to go up, and we're going to put the box as high as we can on that.
Okay. So you're going to dig approximately...
Right here.
Okay.
Might not be going deep at all. We don't know. Alright guys, how do these microphones work if I walk really far away from the camera?
I don't know. It looked like it was still picking it up, but
So you could hear me swear and say mean things about everything and be angry and grumpy when I'm not even around?
Yeah, so...
Lucky you.
Well, if... Lucky you, you film it all. Or you edit it all, I mean. But, like, if you go to the restroom, you're gonna have to take your mic off and leave it here if I'm talking to the camera, otherwise I'll be talking.
Yeah, I go up to the...
If I go use the restroom and leave my mic on and you're talking to the camera.
Yeah, that's funny.
So, things we're just gonna have to get used to, but we'll get used to it after. You're talking to the camera and then you just hear me peeing.
Or worse. Sweet. Look at that. Alright guys, so this box is made to, you got your grounding bar, your neutral bar, and then it looks like you could put two different legs, but they're not joined. So I have to put a jumper between them if we want to bring power to stuff out here. Get it up as high as we can. Alright guys, I got this all wired. All it is one 20-volt single-phase wire. Now we're not doing 240 volts, so it's just a ground, neutral, and a hot. So we got that coming. We got it buried underground, coming up here to this breaker box slash outlet box. We have the neutral hooked up, the hot hooked up, and the ground hooked up. Right now I'm going to run the power through this breaker to this switch, but when we get ready to transfer it over to the cabin, I'll either get another breaker and we'll jumper the power over to this breaker to the cabin, or I'll take the plug off of here and we'll just use this 30 amp. All we use is 30 amp in the cabin. I don't know, a lot of you guys have been here a long time, you know that, but for anybody who's new here, 30 amp service takes good care of us in the cabin. We don't have big well pumps, washers, dryers, stuff like that on that system, so we're running the mini split, which is a 19 amp surge, and then more like a 10 to 15 amp running. When it's running, we have our water system set up on a small RV pump, 12 volt RV pump, and then you know, the next biggest thing we use is like the air fryer and the refrigerator, lights, computers.
Coffee maker.
Coffee maker does about 800 watts, so...
But our coffee maker doesn't stay on all the time afterwards, which is nice.
Yeah. Is your thing working?
Yeah, I think so. Okay.
Either that, it's picking up on... Oh, yeah, there's two different ones, right? It said yours was disconnected when you were
Maybe
gone.
because I walked too far away.
Yeah, so anyway, guys, yeah. So that's hooked up to this outlet right now. So we could actually, once we get a battery hooked up to the inverter and everything hooked up in the bunker, we could use this as power. We could use this to charge stuff. We could just piggyback that into the solar shed using our transfer switch and do it that way and leave the solar shed here for the winter. I don't know, but I think we're going to, if we get to everything, we're going to get everything in the bunker. Try our best. Winter's sneaking up on us fast. We've got a lot of projects to button up before winter hits.
We're going to be working outside all winter. Unless you want to do trim all winter.
Yes.
Yes, to what? Outside or trim?
No. So, all right, guys. All right.
They've seen me bury ditches twice now. Even though somebody said I'm pretty good at it.
Pretty good at digging ditches.
I'm a ditch digging master. Just show them what you did. You got that all done? One project done for the day?
One project done for the day. Let's go do something else. I don't know what time it is.
It's like 1:30, I think.
Oh, good. I got all day. You're gonna go.
I'm gonna go to the deer viewing station.
Yeah.
Jason really likes to make it a deer viewing station, actually.
Stop. So, all right, guys, let's go work on the bunker for a little bit. All right, guys, we got a variety of breaker boxes here. I don't have a lot of outlet boxes. So the objective of putting these breaker boxes in, these breaker panels, is to be able to, safely protect the line going to the cabin and to the mini cabin. And so it could be versatile here and try to do some current sharing if I need to. Like, say this battery goes dead with this system, I can plug it into this system in the bunker and charge it up. I'm facing a little bit of that paralysis from analysis right now. So instead of just hanging stuff up and getting it done, I know it needs to be done, I just don't want to move it all around again. All right, let's just mount a box. Stop thinking about it. I think a big part of my issue with things is that I'm doing like 4 things at once. And I don't...
That's your problem.
And I don't have all the pieces ever, so it's like, frick. It's like, I think I have the pieces, and then you get doing the project and you don't. So, like right now, I have the rubber. I bought more stuff than I normally would to try to make this safe and nice. I bought this non-metallic conduit, and I bought ends so I could make everything fit nice. And I don't have enough stuff. I don't have anything to go from this to a 1-inch hard rigid conduit. So it's like, you still never have all the pieces. That's why plumbers and electricians make good money, because they have a truck full of stuff and they still don't have all the stuff half the time. So, but anyway, I'm getting power. I'm just doing stuff now. Stopping thinking. I'm not thinking about it anymore. I'm not going to overthink it anymore. Got it going down into here. We got our neutral on our neutral bar. And we got our ground. I don't have a ground. I have a grounding bar somewhere. I bought it so you could install. They don't come with grounding bars all the time because it depends on what you're doing with it. So now I got to get power from our load over here to here. All right, guys, getting there. Not sure I have this set up the best way ever, but it's gonna work. Spent all this time thinking about it, and I still just end up winging it. All right, there you go. Almost done. Let me show it to you. Power going out to the cabin. I wired it to go through the breaker out there, but now we put the transfer switch in. This will hold 6 different circuits. So this is what all these extra lines are for, the 5 other circuits. There's really nothing to do with those unless I cut them all off, and I don't want to cut them off in case we want to run different stuff in here. These wires will pretty much only be used if you're using like a backup power source. But the 2 with the 30 amp fuse, or the 30 amp breaker, this is what I was running it on before, 30 amp breaker. They have wires that go up here, and it goes in here, and it feeds through here before it goes out to the cabin. So if we turn the power off in the middle, no power will go to the cabin. If we go line, it'll be from the inverter. And if we go generator, it'll be from this plug. I want to put an outlet in here off of this box, even if it's just like right here. So then I can plug this in with just a 15 amp. Then I can just backfeed that system if I need to charge it for, you know, in case the solar doesn't keep up. It's not going to keep up over the winter. We're most likely going to just shut this system down over the winter. I might transfer this battery over to our main system. That's why I'm trying to like figure it out. I think I'm just going to put a couple of these server racks on this system because this system doesn't get used much. No reason for the nice big 14.3 kilowatt hour battery to sit there and not be used on the mini cabin when we could very easily use that storage for the big cabin. Jen and I have been, like, we were sick for a few weeks and I still feel like crap. Hopefully nothing. I felt like crap for a month. Let's finish this up. Let's wrap this up. Alright guys, it's getting dark, or it's 5 o'clock, gonna be dark in like half hour. Just wanted to let this system charge as long as I could, and now I got this breaker box in, turned everything off, turned the power off there, turned the solar breaker off, turned the power switch off, and the breaker. Power switch and the breaker. I'm gonna have to get, I want one breaker here, 30 amp to run the cabin, and then one breaker here to put that little home power box here maybe. I might put that home power box on here, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I think I have enough stuff to maybe pop in the outgoing power. A lot of extra wire here. This is not good for such a long distance. Like, it was already kind of at its max. So if we can cut 10 feet off of here, that's a good thing. But I need to make sure that I mark these well. You guys missed the sunset just by a minute, sorry.